the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix at Barber Motorsports Park. It's green, we're racing in Alabama.
A great jump from McLaughlin. He's going to lead comfortably into turn one. It's Lundgaard and Award side by side.
Whoa!
And we got a spin at the back. Stingray Rob's around.
And Jack Harvey, Kiffin Simpson splits them. They're able to continue, but drama at turn one.
Damage if you can when they go by.
Easy to get bunched up. How about Christian Lundgaard, the 45, looking to the inside, and here comes Scott Dixon in the orange and blue PNC car, battling his teammate Marcus Armstrong. Dixon going forward already. Oh, contact for Colton Herta. That is Santino Ferrucci getting really dirty up the inside.
You do not see contact in turn one at Barber. Oh boy.
You can tell that Colton got hit and was taking none of it as Pato Award is off the track. I think that's in turn 5 at the exit.
But let's take a look at what happened to Pato Award.
You know what happened? He got in too deep, locked up, was going to hit the back there, I think, of Lundgaard, and decided, I don't want to hit another car in the start like I did at Long Beach, and the right side's got in the grass.
Fittipaldi in the MyJack Honda. He says, somebody took me out, completely took me out. Oh, it's Pato Award. What an eventful start to the day for Pato. While we're in the break, Scott Dixon, championship leader, ran off track and he has fallen back. Here he goes. He's going to do Joseph's move to himself, and they hit. They hit and Newgarden's off. Armstrong and Newgarden collide. Alex Palou leads the field back to green.
As you watch the leaders go through 2-3, it's Scott McLaughlin and Will Power just getting up there. It's crazy to see how much track position they've lost with that caution and the stop. But up top, action as we see Marcus Ericsson having to defend against Rinus VeeKay, who's got himself back in the fight.
Oh, VeeKay has been carving his way through the field. Meanwhile, look at that bottom box. Power alongside McLaughlin, the two teammates from Penske going at it.
Nice move from Will Power. McLaughlin returning the favor to Will Power.
There's been an accident of a different kind.
Okay, so that bridge there.
Not a real person, we should point out right away. This is part of the eccentric art that populates Barber Motorsports Park. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh my goodness.
Who was that was just driving by as it happened? That must have been quite a shock.
Imagine if she stuck the landing.
Put this into the list of things you don't see at a racetrack.
Stingray Rob in turn 1 in the AJ Foyt car is heavy into the barriers.
Watch this. Oh, we got sideways, straight across, and straight in. But we have heard from Stingray Rob. That's a positive.
Which strategy works out? Will Power wanted no changes to the car. Let's see where the blend happens, and can these new tires make the difference?
Scotty Mack, smooth sailing, keeps the gap to his teammate. And there is Alex Palou.
So easily in and out ahead of the Spaniard, who's on a different strategy.
Battle for third.
There is no battle. That was just a blow-by. The rookie on the champ. Whoa! Rasmussen! Around he goes. This thing is not over yet. Let's finish this one off. Here we go. McLaughlin and Power at the front of the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix.
Big advantage for Scott McLaughlin is that clean air through that first high-speed corner. Will Power trying to stay close.
He was last in the championship points after that DQ. He has answered it emphatically. Scotty Mack, McLaughlin wins at Barber for back-to-back years, and Team Penske back on top.
Oh yeah, 33 to the moon, boys. Thank you so much. Well done, team. So proud of the execution. So proud. Thanks.
Up next, it's the Sanzio Grand Prix, Saturday, May 11th. Watch it at 3 p.m. on NBC.
And of course, that was last year's race. Good evening, everyone. I am Derik Vance, and obviously, this is the Push to Pass podcast, episode number 77. As you can see, this evening I am a solo unit, as some would say. Josh is on a rest and relaxation trip, so hopefully he is having fun and he gets back here safe and sound because obviously tomorrow is May and there are a lot of happenings when it comes to the month of May. And then Michael has a prior obligation as well. So like I said, I am going to be flying solo this evening. We are going to be talking about, obviously, and previewing what is coming up this weekend in Birmingham, Alabama. It is the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, and we'll discuss that here, give you some track map, the track map for this weekend, rather. We'll give you some facts. We'll take you on a hot lap of what it looks like at Barber Motorsports Park there in Birmingham, Alabama. We'll give you the weekend schedule and then the active past winners this evening as well. Not sure. I know Mike, our betting expert, got some late hockey playoff tickets, so not sure if he'll be able to join us this evening or not. I did see earlier, courtesy of X or Twitter, that there are some early betting lines for the race this weekend, so we'll see if Mike is able to join us or not. And then also too, our official Push to Pass podcast weatherman, IndyCar weatherman, is going to join us. I know he put out a forecast earlier in the week. I know he updated it as of this morning. So we'll let him introduce that and explain a little bit. It looks like there may be a little bit of rain this weekend, particularly in qualifying. So I know people are going to want to probably pay attention to that. If you are a betting aficionado, not like me, but if you like to bet, particularly in IndyCar, definitely pay attention to what the forecast is going to give us this weekend. And then also, too, when we get to our news and notes section, a lot of excitement at the track. Last week, we did have Indy 500 testing for 2 days. We'll go over those results. And then, obviously, if you were paying attention or if you've read the articles that have been put out, not only by myself, but other individuals that cover IndyCar, you did see that there were a couple wrecks during testing as well. One of them is former former Indianapolis 500 champion, two-time champion, Takuma Sato. We'll give you an update on that. And then earlier today, a new livery was introduced and announced for the reigning and defending three-time NTT IndyCar Series champion Alex Palou. And we'll show that off here as well before the show comes to a end this evening. But like I said, I am a solo unit, so I'm going to give it the best I can here. Give it the old yeoman's try, per se, and we'll get through this. Kind of have hampered by a little bit of a sore throat last night, and then with the inclement weather that came in, that is why the show got pushed from last night to tonight. So let's get into things here a little bit. We are going to discuss, like I said, and talk about and preview the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix that is happening this weekend. So like I said, let's get into it, shall we? This is there it is right there. This is what the track or the course that the NTT IndyCar Series is going to be rolling to this evening. This is what it looks like. It is going to be a 90 lapper, ladies and gentlemen, or 207 miles, depending on which one comes first. Like we mentioned, the Barber Motorsports Park is just outside of Birmingham, Alabama. I believe it's Leeds, Alabama is the correct location on the address. It is a 2.3 mile perimeter, or permanent rather, road course with 17 flowing turns and features 80 feet of elevation change that will challenge both drivers and engineers alike. A 45 foot wide racing ribbon also makes it imperative for patience while setting up overtaking opportunities. And as you've seen in last year's race there, you got to watch out for some of the track obstacles. They're not supposed to be obstacles, but track obstacles there, to say the least. I know Scott McLaughlin ate that up last year with the mannequin that fell right there in one of the underpasses, and I believe he had a field day with that there on Twitter. Looking at the schedule for this weekend, I know that might be a little tough for everyone to see, but I will go over it. The NTT IndyCar Series is going to get things kicked off Friday around 3 p.m. Now, pay attention because they're going to bounce back and forth between obviously the main Fox channel, FS1 and FS2. So Friday, first practice around 3:30 p.m. all Eastern Standard Time there in Alabama is going to be on FS2. And then on Saturday, they're going to kick things off again around 11:30 a.m. That is when practice number 2 for the NTT IndyCar Series is slated to get underway. Now, that is going to be on FS1. Following that, around 2:30 p.m. Again, on FS1, it is going to be qualifications. So FS1 is going to be your mainstay for Saturday. And then turning the page over to Sunday, around 10 a.m. is when that final warm-up for the NTT IndyCar Series is going to take place. And then you're going to have on Sirius XM at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is going to be the pre-race show. And then Fox at 1:30 p.m. is going to have the drop of the green flag for the Children's of Alabama Grand Prix. So that is a little bit of what the course is going to look like, a little bit of the track facts of the course, and then the weekend schedule as well. I did mention that we will have a hot lap of what it looks like to go around the Barber Motorsports Park there in Birmingham, Alabama. So courtesy of Scott McLaughlin, who had the fastest lap last year. Let's take a look at what that hot lap looks like around Barber Motorsports Park. And that is what a hot lap around the Barber Motorsports Park there in Birmingham, Alabama looks like. Again, huge thank you to Scott McLaughlin and his crew for being able to use that footage. Taking a look at some of the past winners of this race, a lot of names that you expect to find up here, obviously, as we talked about in last year and also in 2023. You see the Thirsty Threes and Scott McLaughlin. So he definitely has a history of being able to get around this motorsports park there in Birmingham, Alabama. Also, Pato Award, 2022, the reigning and defending and 3-time NTT IndyCar Series champion Alex Palou won this race in 2021. Also, someone else that has a great history here. That's another team member there of Team Penske, Joseph Newgarden. He has won in 2015, 2017, and then 2018. And then his other Penske teammate, not to be outdone, but a young Will Power, if you think back to 2011. Was the last time, and the only time rather, that Will Power was able to get things done here in Birmingham. So that also, like I said, is a look of the past winners of this race. A lot of intrigue and a lot of storylines coming in to this race. Is one of them I think about is Alex Palou going to be able to get back on that winning side of winning horse, so to say, as he was knocked off of it just a few weeks ago at Long Beach by Kyle Kirkwood. Is Palou going to be able to pick up his dominance again, or is somebody else that we have not mentioned, not named Alex Palou or Kyle Kirkwood, are they going to be able to step up to the plate and take a little bit of momentum going into the month of May, and not only at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, but the 2.5 mile oval that awaits them in that last weekend in May. So definitely a lot of intrigue and a lot of storylines coming in to this race. Can't wait to see how it plays out. Obviously, this weekend, stay tuned to the Push to Pass podcast, as you can find us on all of the major social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, or X, depending on what generation that you are in. Instagram, I know we haven't hit that as hard as we have in the past, but we're getting caught up on that. Threads, something new we're trying there as well. And then, like I said, all the social media platforms to keep you up to date as to all of the ongoings that are going to be taking place in Birmingham, Alabama this weekend. And then, not to turn the page a little bit, but it's hard not to, especially when you live in Indianapolis like I do. But you see it right around the corner in just a few hours. The calendar is going to turn over to May, and you think about all of the festivities that take place there in the month of May, especially around the Indianapolis area. I know some people haven't seen it yet, but I know they will for the first time here coming up in the not so distant future. But for all those people that travel to Indianapolis Memorial Day weekend, that fill up what is the 2.5 mile speedway there on 16th and Georgetown, are obviously can't wait for what is about to take place. A lot of storylines obviously going into that race as well, into that whole month. So to say, you have the aspect of Kyle Larson, obviously taking headlines away from some, but Kyle Larson attempting not only to run and complete the Indianapolis 500, but then in the same night fly to Charlotte, North Carolina, and compete in the Coca-Cola 600 on the NASCAR side. So can't imagine one man driving 1,100 miles in one day. So, that's one storyline, the Kyle Larson aspect of things. And then you have, you think about the back-to-back winner of this race, Joseph Newgarden, who is attempting to go back-to-back-to-back. That has never been done, so that would be a rare feat, obviously, for Newgarden and company. And then, obviously, Elio Castroneves, he's got 4, now the drive for 5. Could he become the first NTT IndyCar Series driver with 5 Borg Warner or mini Borg Warners, as they say? So definitely a lot of storylines going into the month of May, but we got to get through Alabama first. I know it's tough for people that are diehard IndyCar fans. It's tough to get through, but we have to get through Alabama first this weekend, and then we turn our attention and all of our focus to what is going to be what is called the greatest spectacle in racing in the Indianapolis 500. I know we have the Indy GP May 10th. We have that first, but then after that, It's the big one, the Super Bowl of racing and the Indianapolis 500. But a lot to get to, obviously, before we get into all of that. Let's get to the sponsors here real quick. We have to thank them, obviously, for what they do. But first and foremost, Always Ready 1776 for all your apparel, headwear, and more. Go check out Always Ready 1776. And if you do find something over there, if you do find something there at alwaysready1776.com, make sure you use that promo code that you see right there on your screen, push to pass, for 10% off of your order. Again, Always Ready 1776 and alwaysready1776.com. Also, a huge thank you as well to Gettum Associates for all your home design and remodeling needs. It is Gettum Associates, and you can find them on the web at gettum.com. And if you do choose to go with a home design from them, make sure you use that promo code that you see up on your screen, push to pass, for $250 off any design service. So huge thank you both, as I said, to Always Ready 1776 and Gettum Associates for being proud sponsors of the Push to Pass podcast. I do apologize for the break in the action there. So to say, I did have to step away for a minute and grab something to drink. As you can see, it's kind of tough sometimes when you got to do things on your own and you have a sore throat like I do, and trying to talk and run everything at the same time. You just get a little dry, dry in the throat. So that was what I'm doing, was stepping away there for a minute to grab an ice cold beverage to hopefully be able to get my throat through the rest of this podcast. Before we get into our betting segment, and then obviously you have to pay a lot of attention to the weather this weekend, because that could definitely play havoc on practices on Friday and Saturday, and then qualifying later in the day on Saturday. We'll step away from that for a minute until we get both of our experts in on that. We'll skip ahead here a little bit, and we'll get to some of the testing that took place this past Wednesday and Thursday, I believe, so about a week ago at the infamous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As you see here, some of the test results from Wednesday and Thursday. I believe the first one would be April 23rd. So I believe that was a Wednesday. Just checking the dates here for a moment to make sure that that was Wednesday, the 23rd. And as you see right there up on the screen, and I know it may be tough for some to read, so I'll go over it here momentarily to get everything set up. But yes, this was the first day of open testing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Like I said, 2.5 mile oval, and in combined laps between 35 drivers was just over 2,800 laps at 2,805 total laps ran. And the quickest of the day was Scott Dixon at 225.182 miles an hour. And he was followed by Joseph Newgarden, Takuma Sato, Marcus Armstrong, and Colton Herta rounded out the top five. Then it was Alex Palou, Elio Castroneves, Felix Rosenquist, Marco Andretti, and Kyle Kirkwood, who rounded out the top 10. Then Kyle Larson, followed by Connor Daly, Scott McLaughlin, Graham Rahal, Devlin DeFrancesca, Pato Award, Alexander Rossi, Will Power, Marcus Armstrong, and Louis Foster rounded out the top 20. Then it was David Malukas, Ed Carpenter, Kiffin Simpson, Ryan Hunter-Ray, Stingray Robb, Christian Lundgaard, Christian Rasmussen, Robert Schwartzman, Santino Ferrucci, Jack Harvey, Nolan Siegel, Callum Ilott, Renus VK, and rookie Jacob Abel rounded out the first day of testing. Moving on to day number 2, and this is where things got a little bit interesting, as you see Takuma Sato towards the top of the speed charts, but in the afternoon in the session on Thursday, he did really do some damage, heavy damage to his car. We'll have an update on that here later in the show, and then Kyle Larson as well found his way into the wall at the same time, or not the same time, but in the same session. A little less laps ran in this session, just 563. Also keep in mind the second session on Thursday, or the second session that took place on Thursday, rather, the boosts in the engines were turned up a little bit, so the speeds were a little bit quicker, obviously, than they were in day 1 of testing on Wednesday. But Scott McLaughlin led the pack there at 232.686 miles an hour, and he was followed by Takuma Sato, Will Power, Felix Rosenquist, and Alex Palou rounded out the top 5 there. Then following them was Scott Dixon, Kyle Kirkwood, Colton Herta, Joseph Newgarden, and Kiffin Simpson rounded out the top 10. Then it was Louis Foster, Marcus Ericsson, Stingray Robb, Pato Award, Alexander Rossi, Graham Rahal, Marcus Armstrong, Christian Rasmussen, Devlin DeFrancesca, and Santino Ferrucci rounded out the top 20. Then it was the hometown hero, Connor Daly, Christian Lundgaard, Elio Castroneves, Renus VK, Robert Schwartzman, David Malukas, Ryan Hunter-Ray, Jacob Abel, Jack Harvey, Ed Carpenter, Callum Ilott, Marco Andretti, there we go, let me see if I can get that right, Nolan Siegel, and Kyle Larson rounded out the last of the 34 cars there. All right, let's get back here. Let's try that again. There we go. So like I said, that does it for the 2 days of testing. A lot of things taking place. I think the drivers found out a little bit of what the effect that the new hybrid engine system, because you think about it, keep in mind that the hybrid engine system was not a part of the 2024 Indianapolis 500. So it has made the car a little more heavier. So obviously, there's going to be a lot more adjustments that are going to be made for that going forward. As like I said, with the Indianapolis 500, just a little less than a month away. So I think a lot of data was collected for that, and obviously they're going to go back to their garages and to their shops and collect that data, go over it, pour over it, and then hopefully find some changes and adjustments that can be made when the 500 officially opens for first practice here in a couple weeks' time. But I did say there were a few individuals, two per se, that found themselves into the wall. Kyle Larson was the first victim. He hit the wall outside of turn 1 into turn 2. The car was not as damaged as one would think. But like I said, this was Kyle's first run-in with the wall, so kind of a learning experience for him. But it wasn't that for Takuma Sato, who completely damaged the whole back end of his car, and we did get an update earlier yesterday, I believe, from Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing as to what the status is or update on that. So we'll pull this up for everyone here, and we'll go over this article here I wrote yesterday that you can find if you go to yournews.com under the auto racing section. You'll see it right there. New car for Sato for the Indianapolis 500. If Takuma Sato is going to win his third Indianapolis 500, obviously, he is going to do it now in a new car. Due to a heavy crash during last Thursday's open test at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Sato will have another brand new number 75 Armada Honda waiting for him in his Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan garage. The crash last Thursday did a considerable amount of damage to the car, but there were no visible signs of terminal harm to the DW12 tub, which is the driver's safety cell that eventually hit the turn one wall. When the car was returned to the Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing shop and a full post-crash teardown was conducted, it was revealed that the number 75 Honda suffered structural damage that will require a new assembly for Sato. Now, according to inside sources at Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing, a new tub did have to be purchased and retrieved from the Dallara base outfit there in Speedway, and it is currently the build of Sato's replacement car is underway. Now, you see here the tweet that was included in this article was what Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing sent out yesterday. As you can see, according to this tweet here, the Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing team is obviously hard at work to get the new Dallara chassis ready for Takuma Sato when the opening day of practice starts for the Indianapolis 500. So a lot of workings going on over there at the Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing shop. So hopefully they're able to get that new car quickly assembled for Takuma Sato as he's going to go for his third Indianapolis 500 victory. Another piece of news that just came out earlier today, actually, is Alex Palou is going to be sporting a new livery for this weekend's race in Birmingham, Alabama. Again, over at yournews.com in the auto racing section, new livery for Palou this weekend. You see it right there on your screen, the picture of it. It's going to have the primary sponsor is going to be the Honda Racing logo right there. Alex Palou will have a new look this weekend in Birmingham, Alabama. As announced today, HRC, the Honda Racing Corporation, is going to partner up with Chip Ganassi Racing in the number 10 Honda, driven by the reigning and defending three-time NTT IndyCar Series champion at this weekend's Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix at Barber Motorsports Park in Birmingham, Alabama. Now, if you remember, and again, I didn't get to see this, some of you may have, the number 10 will carry a striking livery that was featured during this winter's HRC crossover event in Las Vegas. F1 driver UK Tsunoda drove around the road course at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway with guidance from none other than the six-time NTT IndyCar Series champion, Scott Dixon. Quote, "We are excited to be the primary partner on the number 10 Chip Ganassi Racing Honda at Barber Motorsports Park," said HR President David Salters. "We've had a very successful long-term partnership, Ganassi Racing, and both of us have seen a lot of success from that collaboration. Alex Palou has done an incredible job the last few years, and to kick off this 2025 season and coming on board the number 10 car seemed like a great opportunity for visibility around the HRC brand and our new performance parts business. Over the years, we have had many successes working with Honda, winning multiple championships and the Indianapolis 500 standards, Ganassi said. We are looking forward to partnering with them at Barber on the number 10 and hope Alex and the team will continue their successful start to the season. And obviously you cannot deny the start to Alex Palou has gotten off to, but interesting to see that he's going to be holding the colors and in the logo this weekend for Team Honda and the Honda Racing Corporation in the Children's of Alabama Grand Prix. So good stuff going on there at not only the Alex Palou camp, but others as well. Again, getting back to the story at hand here, or the topic at hand, the Barber Motorsports Park and the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix. I do see going on the IndyCar website that the Spotter's Guide is available. So let me see if I can grab that link here and see if we can throw this up on screen for everyone, so everyone gets a feel as to what some of the liveries are going to look like this weekend. So it looks like we will be able to do that. So let me screen share this for everyone real quickly, and we will go over. We see Joseph Newgarden. It's going to be going back to the PPG paint scheme this weekend. Now, if you've never looked at one of these spotter guides, or if you're new to the NTT IndyCar series, like I said, you've never seen this before. These are spotter guides, and you can obviously print these out, or I know sometimes if you go to the race itself, where they sell the programs, they'll have these as well. But basically, what these are if you're looking for a specific car on the track, well, you know what to look for. You know what the livery is going to look like this weekend. For your particular car, maybe that particular driver that you have a fondness for. Also, too, you see these numbers here on the screen as well. Those are the radio frequencies. Now, if you go to if you go to the track this weekend, if you go to Barber and you have your own race radio, or if you purchase one there, all you got to do is dial in the primary channel for Joseph Newgarden, which is the 464 number, or the backup 469 if somehow communication goes haywire, and that you'll be able to hear the communication in the driver's seat there for Joseph Newgarden. And then his Penske teammate there, last year's race winner. This is when he goes to this livery right here. This is called the Meat Wagon. Don't ask me why it's called that, but they call it the Meat Wagon for the Thirsty Three. So, this was lucky for them last year. So, be curious to see what the outcome is for the Meat Wagon this year. And you see right there, David Malukas of AJ Foyt Enterprises. Just the simple number 4 there, AJ Foyt Racing on the side. Pato Award in the number 5. Again, simple, just his same Arrow McLaren livery right there. And then you see his other two teammates, Nolan Siegel with the NTT data on his, and then Christian Lundgaard with the Velo livery on his, just simple. Again, then we'll go over to the number 8 machine in Kiffin Simpson for Chip Ganassi Racing. And he's got the Journey livery right there with the pink and the dark blue. I guess you would consider that. And then his teammate Scott Dixon in his infamous colors there with the PNC Bank, the always boring PNC Bank, the orange and blue. And then you see right there the story we just touched on there. Alex Palou in the HRC livery, going to bust out a new livery this weekend for Alex Palou. And then you see the last of the Team Penske cars there, Will Power in the number 12 Verizon Chevrolet. And then moving on, the other part of AJ Foyt Enterprises there, Santino Ferrucci in the Sexton's Property Machine. Then you have Graham Rahal in the number 15 for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing in the Hendrickson's livery. That's something new that he has not showed this year. And moving on to number 18, Renus VK in the Dale Coyne Racing machine, the Ask Royo machine. Number 20, Alexander Rossi in the Java House machine for Ed Carpenter Racing. And his teammate, number 21 there, Christian Rasmussen in the Splenda, number 21. Then you have Colton Herta, who carries the Gainbridge, very famous. If you are an Indianapolis resident, you have Gainbridge Fieldhouse, where the Indiana Pacers just advanced to the Eastern Conference semifinals. But Colton Herta just goes back to the Gainbridge livery. And then you have a couple weekends ago, the last time the cars were on track at Long Beach, you had Kyle Kirkwood in the number 27 prefab machine, and then his teammate Marcus Erickson in the number 28 Bryant machine. Devin DeFrancesco, who's going to have a interesting, to say the least, livery for the Indianapolis 500. If you have not seen this yet, in the number 30 machine. And then his teammate, the rookie Louis Foster, and the number 45 Myjack for Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing. And then we're going over back a little bit rather to number 51 Dale Coyne Racing, Jacob Abel with his dad's logo there on the tub for Abel Construction. And then moving over to Meyer Shank Racing, who had an interesting and productive 2 days of testing at the 500. Felix Rosenquist in the Meyer Shank number 60 Sirius XM machine. And then his teammate, Marcus Erickson, who shows the same colors that maybe just be flipped there a little bit in the number, again, 66 Sirius XM machine. And then you have Connor Daly in the number 76 for Juncos Hollander Racing, a new livery for them. And I find it interesting that the number 76 is now it's the logo of the 76 fuel. So I find that very interesting by Connor Daly. And then his teammate there, Stingray Robb in the number 77 for Juncos Hollander Racing, the Good Heart. I know he had that when he was over at Dale Coyne. And then you have the two Prema cars. First, Robert Schwartzman in the number 83 machine, and then Callum Ilott in the number 90 for Prema Racing. So that's what the liveries are going to look like. That's what the liveries are going to look like this weekend. So hopefully you'll find a car, or your favorite driver, whoever that may be, is showing off that livery that you may like so well. Trying to just going back through here, and I know I do seem quite unprepared. I was hoping that I was going to have more than just myself. You know what? Sometimes things get in the way. Sometimes life gets in the way. You just have to pick it up and run with it, and that's what I'm doing here. So it may look a little bit out of sequence, so to say, and that may be true, I guess. But just trying to get through this, trying to get everything that we need to get out for this week to preview Barber, and hopefully get a good handle on who we may think is going to win that. I know we'll do that. Me or myself, Josh and Michael, we will send out our race picks on Sunday. We would love to hear from you as well. So when we do put them out on X or Twitter or Facebook, wherever you may find them, I'm curious, reply to those. I'm kind of curious to see what other people are thinking when it comes to those race picks. I know new people are starting to learn and understand what IndyCar is, and others that may have a firm grasp on it and they may know more than me, and that's good too. But just curious to get your feedback, not only on race picks, but on the show in general. Are there things that you like? Are there things that you don't like? What are some things that you think that we need to hit harder or cover more, or people that you'd like to see come on as guests, or people that we can interview? We love feedback here at the Push to Pass podcast, because it's all about you guys. And I love to know what makes the IndyCar Nation tick So, that's why I'm always trying to, or we're always trying to get feedback from our followers, from everybody that does follow the Push to Pass podcast. If it's on Facebook, if it's on Twitter, if it's on X, whatever platform you follow it on, definitely love to hear feedback and comments. And like I said, if we do get comments during the show, we will post them up just like this one here. I know this was done as the show unfolded. In the opening video there, but yeah, definitely like the video, share the video, share all of the 77 episodes that makes up the Push to Pass podcast. Definitely love to share those things and make it make not just IndyCar, but make this whole IndyCar community accessible to whoever wants to see it. Hopefully Mike is able to join us. If not, I do know, like I said earlier today, the odds did come out. So if he's not able to join us, let me go over and see if I can find the odds that the betting odds that the DraftKings put out earlier. Hat tip Matt Archuleta on Facebook. Excuse me, not Facebook. Geez, on X or Twitter, depending on what generation you grew up in. He did put those out. So just in case if Mike is not able to join us this evening due to a prior commitment, let's take a look at what the betting odds look like for this weekend's race. As you see, like I said, this was just dropped the last few hours, but Alex Palou obviously leads the field there at plus 250. And then you have Scott McLaughlin at plus 350, Will Power plus 600, Joseph Newgarden plus 700, Pato Award plus 800, Christian Lundgaard plus 900, Scott Dixon plus 1,200, Kyle Kirkwood plus 1,200, Colton Herta plus 1,200, Marcus Ericsson plus 2,000, Marcus Armstrong plus 2,500, Felix Rosenquist plus 2,500, Alexander Rossi plus 2,500, Graham Rahal plus 5,000. Wow. So you're really getting in the long shots here. Santino Ferrucci plus 6,000, Rinus VeeKay plus 6,000, David Malukas plus 6,000, Louis Foster plus 8,000, Connor Daly plus 10,000, Callum Ilott plus 10,000, Kiffin Simpson plus 15,000, Devlin DeFrancesco plus 15,000, Christian Rasmussen plus 15,000, Robert Schwartzman plus 20,000, Stingray Robb plus 30,000. That's not going to make Josh happy. And Jacob Abel plus 30,000 as well. So definitely see where Vegas there is hedging their bets a little bit. And keep in mind, we talked about it earlier. Some of the past winners, you had Scott McLaughlin 2024, 2023, Pato Award in 2022, Alex Palou 2021, Joseph Newgarden 2018, Joseph Newgarden in 2017, again Joseph Newgarden 2015, and I think the last active winner that we have is Will Power in 2011. So again, I am obviously not as good as what Mike is in these things. So if you're gonna take what I'm gonna tell you about betting, take it with a whole lot of salt, because obviously Mike is way better in this than me. What I would suggest is following him on Twitter, and we'll put his Twitter handle or X handle down here at the bottom. I don't know if he's going to show up or not, but definitely follow him on X or Twitter for betting for this weekend if you don't already. Also, too, somebody else that I think you could hedge your bets with, and again, no pun intended there, Tony Donahue definitely knows his stuff when it comes to betting, especially when it comes to IndyCar. So that's somebody else that I would strongly advise to follow if you don't already, if betting is something that you're interested in. But me, and again, this is just me. If I was going to put some skin in the game, as they like to say, I'm going to take a look at some of the previous winners. And again, I'm sure that Mike has a way different philosophy on how to bet these races than I do, but I'm definitely going to take a look at some of the past winners and maybe kind of hedge my bets there a little bit. Obviously, I don't think you could go wrong. And again, this is just me, but I don't think you could go wrong with Scott McLaughlin. Obviously, he's the two-time defending champion. And something else that's interesting too, just by looking at the previous winners, 2023, 2024, Scott McLaughlin was the winner. And guess what livery, folks, that Scott McLaughlin won with in back-to-back years? Yes, the Good Ranchers, the same livery that he's going to have this weekend, the Meat Wagon, as he likes to call it. So definitely would put some money there. We know how close Alex Palou has been, we know how close Pato Award has been on road courses, so that's probably not a bad bet either. And then Alex Palou, obviously, we know if he hits the strategy correctly, him and Barry Wanzer, if they're on the same page, this race could be way over. So definitely not a bad bet there. And then, like we said, Joseph Newgarden, who's won this race 3 years, 2018, 2017, and 2015. That's probably not a bad person to bet against there either. But like I said, that's just me. I'm not the best when it comes to betting. I know there are people out there that know way more than me that, that's what they do for a living. Is bet and place bets and take bets and give advice on things like that. So definitely, I would suggest, and again, as you see it rolling down the bottom of the screen there, definitely go check out Mike's Twitter or X, Tony Donahue as well, because I know they're going to give great, sound, solid advice all weekend. And as soon as the odds update, they're going to update what they're thinking, where they're putting their money at. And then sometimes on race days, and I don't know, obviously, without talking to Mike, if it's going to happen this weekend or not. But usually they'll do a betting show on Spaces, if you know what those are, if those are even still a thing, I guess. But yeah, definitely go check out. I would definitely highly recommend go checking out both of them and, take their advice over mine. And again, with me, I could just go off the fringe, off the cuff, and just throw a dart, and wherever that dart lands on whatever driver, that's who I'll pick this weekend. But definitely not going to do that for you guys. But I'm just saying for myself, I would look at the individuals that have a great track record here, and Joseph Newgarden. Obviously, Scott McLaughlin come to mind, all multiple winners. But how can you count out Alex Palou, the start that he's had, and how can you count out Pato Award, how close he has been on the last few road courses as well? So, like I said, that's all I have for the betting aspect. And again, I know it sounds like we're beating a dead horse here, but if you are into betting, definitely go over and check Mike out, check Tony out, because obviously they're going to be way more ahead of the ball game when it comes to the betting aspect than what I am. But the best advice I can give you when it comes to betting is only bet what you can afford to lose. If you're living paycheck to paycheck like a lot of Americans are, and you don't have that extra money, then don't try to press it. But if you do have that extra money that you can, you're okay to lose, then by all means, throw it wherever Mike and Tony lead you to. But the safest bet for me would be, if you can't afford to bet it, don't do it, because you're just going to be chasing money at the end of the day. And obviously you don't want to do that. You don't want to throw your hard-earned money away either, because no matter how you look at politics and everything of that nature, it's a hard economy out there. And just don't throw your money away. Bet it wisely. bet it accordingly. But most importantly, like I said, go check out Mike and Tony, and I'm fairly certain that they will lead you in the right direction when it comes to betting. So we do only have about a few minutes left, and I'm just waiting for to get the official weather report. I do have it here pulled up, so when the official weatherman of the Push to Pass podcast comes on, I know he updated it from earlier in the week, so I'm kind of curious to see and have him explain as to the reasonings why he updated his weather report. Like I said, it looks like to me, and again, I can tie this back in to betting. Definitely pay attention to the weather, because it does look like for Friday and Saturday, which is going to be, first practice, second practice, qualifying, it looks like it may be wet. And then the conditions for Sunday may be total opposite to where it's sunny. So this could be topsy-turvy when it comes to what we're going to see on track this weekend, especially from a weather perspective, because you're going to have, if the weather plays out the way that the weatherman predicts it is, well, Friday you're going to be on rain tires. Saturday for practice you're going to be on rain tires. Saturday for qualifying you're going to be on rain tires. But then for Sunday in the warm-up, you may be on the racing slicks, and then when the race comes around, you may be on the racing slicks. So definitely the weather is going to play a huge role, I think. And maybe that's one of the storylines going in this weekend, is the role that the weather will play. Because like I said, by all means, and again, I don't know if, I trust what the weatherman gives us week in and week out, but that's how volatile the weather is. The thing you can't predict, and I've always said that, what's the one job you could have that you could never get fired for, even if your predictions are wrong? It's the weather. Because you think about how often the weatherman, weatherwomen, whoever you watch, if it's local TV or if it's the national or if it's the Weather Channel, how often do they get the weather wrong? But yet they still have a job, and they still go to work each and every day. So definitely a safe job to have if you're looking for job perspective, or you're looking to go back to college or get into college. And what's one job that's it's always going to be around. They can never say that being a meteorologist is there's no economy for it, because obviously we're always going to have weather, so that's always going to be there, as being a meteorologist. So maybe that's something you look into. Definitely hard to predict, but you know what though, I give all the credit in the world to the people that try, because I've always said, the easiest way for me to predict the weather is to go out the front door, lick my finger and stick it in the air, and that tells me what the weather is that day. But yeoman's work to those that try, that have all of the technology in front of them, all of the data, the radars, et cetera, that try to predict the weather on an every hour basis. Because without them, how would we as a nation, or we as people, plan our day? Because our day seems like it's planned around what the weather is going to do. So how would we plan our day if we didn't have those accurate weather reports from the weather men and women across this nation? If it's a local channel here in Indianapolis, or if it's a national channel like AccuWeather, the Weather Channel, etc. So definitely pay attention to the weather this weekend, and I'm sure here in the next few minutes, our weatherman here is going to explain to us as to why and how it's going to be so important to pay attention to what the weather does this weekend, because it may turn the race upside down and on its head, and we may have somebody that wins this race that we had no idea going into it had an opportunity to win, just for the simple fact that they played the weather game correctly. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. Like I said, we do have a few minutes left before he does join us. As I reiterated earlier in the show, and I'll do it again, pay attention, stay, if you want to stay up to date as to everything that is taking place this weekend in Birmingham, stay here to the Push to Pass podcast. Again, you can find us on all social media platforms, Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. I was going to say Reels, but yeah, Threads. Definitely check everything out there for all up-to-date news on all on-track happenings. And then also to definitely looking forward to the month of May and all the coverage that we're going to give that between myself and Josh and Michael, who are going to be out at the track basically on a daily basis, from first practice on Friday for the Indy GP to the last interview that we get from whoever wins the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500. Just keep it locked here. First of all, I want to thank everyone that does follow the Push to Pass podcast, particularly on Facebook and X. I know this week, I believe, we did hit 500 followers on X and Twitter. So huge thank you to everyone that has followed us over the last 3 years, has pushed us now to 500 followers. Definitely like to get that up. Also, too, I know we're about to 100 subscribers on YouTube. Huge thank you to everyone that has followed us on YouTube. If you've not followed us on YouTube yet, I'm not sure what you're waiting on, but please, if you would take the time to follow the Push to Pass podcast on YouTube. Definitely like to get those numbers up. And then I know myself and Michael, I know we do a lot of writing on not only the Push to Pass WordPress site you see scrolling down the bottom of the page, but also too, our writings are over and featured over at yournews.com, the site we used a little bit earlier to see some of the recent news for the NTT IndyCar series. Anytime that we put out a new story and you see it on the Push to Pass WordPress site, it's going to be over at yournews.com. That's yournews.com, all one word, under the auto racing section. So go check that out. Go take those stories, read them, and then spread them far and wide. Because everybody deserves to know what is going on within the NTT IndyCar series, and I think myself and Michael do a tremendous job. And I know that's an unbiased opinion, obviously, but I think we both do a tremendous job when it comes to, I know Michael likes to do some of his takeaways from the races, and obviously I'll do mine, but then I also will write about things that happened during the week, stories, announcements, things of that nature that happen on the NTT IndyCar series as well. Definitely enjoy getting the opportunity from yournews.com to be one of the main writers for the NTT IndyCar series. So always look forward to putting out new stuff and getting out new stuff to you, the fans, because that's who deserves it, to keep you guys in the know, as they like to say, now you know. So definitely go check out. I know I've thrown a lot at you this evening, but again, go check us out. All social medias, like and share and follow, obviously. Go over to YouTube and subscribe to that. And without further ado, I know the man that we've been waiting on, I know his forecast has kind of changed a little bit from the beginning of the week till now. But now he is here to bring the most up-to-date forecast that we have, the official Push to Pass podcast. Weatherman, IndyCar weatherman, how are you this evening? Let's try that again now, since I brought him on stage. Here we go. I've been waiting. I know your weather report from the middle of the week or beginning of the week till now has kind of changed a little bit. Maybe some rain in the area for Friday and Saturday. But you know what? I'll let you tell the people.
Yeah. So when we kind of started earlier this week, the scenario essentially was a cold front coming through on Friday and having maybe some rain and thunderstorms in the area. And then I was initially anticipating that activity to maybe clear out of there by Friday evening, and then that set up Saturday and Sunday for some sunny conditions and nice weather. And what I found, looking at the last 24, 48 hours worth of data, what we've kind of seen is the tendency for that system to kind of be moving in a little bit slower, essentially. So what that does is creates a forecast where we'll have maybe some prefrontal type storms and activity in the area on Friday. And I think for now it's kind of an afternoon type thing, hit or miss type development. And then that system itself moving into north and into central Alabama during the day on Saturday. So as of right now, I mean, I could see us having to keep an eye on the weather radar right up into the early evening on Saturday. So that certainly would encompass, potential impacts to both the practice in the morning session and then qualifying into the early afternoon. So right now, I'm thinking that system's going to be pretty much tapering off in the evening and pushing south of Barber. And so well south of the area by the time we get into Sunday. And that would open up on the backside of that frontal system to some drier air, a little cooler air, and sunny conditions for race day itself. And right now, I'm not too concerned about the weather on race day. It's just Friday and Saturday we need to keep an eye on. As far as temps go, I think Friday will probably be the warmest day, right? Because we'll be on the warm side of that front. And then I'm thinking that as those clouds move in on Saturday, I'll probably keep that max temperature down a little bit. And then even though we're sunny on Sunday, we get into some of that cooler air. So again, looking at maybe mid to upper 70s on race day, which should be actually pretty pleasant for folks if we can get through Friday and Saturday. So that's the weather story for now. Obviously, it's changed from Monday into, here we are midweek. So continuing to keep an eye on it, and I will continue to refine that forecast with updates as we get closer to the event.
You kind of just stole my thunder a little bit. I was going to ask if you are anticipating to have to update. I know you updated it this morning, but are you anticipating a update between now and practice on Friday?
So I don't know that it'll change that much. I will push an update tomorrow and again on Friday morning, and then I'll be watching, of course, throughout the weekend. But I was just looking at some of the latest stuff that came in before I popped online here, and everything seems to be tracking with the forecast that I put out this morning. So, so once we start to see some of that data come in and the models come in and they kind of focus in on the timing, I feel a little more comfortable, right? That's why I'm feeling all right about Sunday right now. But, obviously we saw a pretty good change, in a 24, 48 hour time span. So that's not to say it could change again, but for now, I think the forecast is pretty much on track, and we'll push out another update tomorrow and make sure we're still there.
All right, Weatherman, good stuff as always. If you do push out a update or going forward, if people don't follow you already, again, first, shame on them. But if they don't, where can they find your work at?
So on X, Twitter is basically where I started the account. But I've also started populating my stuff over on Threads for folks that are over there, and on Blue Sky as well. It's pretty much the same handle. So if you just search IndyCar Weatherman into the search bar, my account should pop right up. So
again, good stuff as always, keeping us up to date on what the weather is going to look like this weekend and going forward. Good to talk to you, and we'll talk to you again here in about 1 week's time.
Yeah, was going to start off with the busy month, right?
Busy is the least you can say, but definitely look forward to that, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, thanks. Have a good one.
All right, go check the Weatherman out. Like I said, very accurate. Hopefully, his weather doesn't have to change between now and Friday. But if it does, make sure you are locked on to that account that was scrolling down there at the bottom for all of the up-to-date weather that's going to take place this weekend. Well, with that, I think that that about does it for this episode of the Push to Pass podcast. Again, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that tuned in this evening. I know the numbers weren't as high as what they normally are, but again, when you're flying solo and you got to stare at this ugly mug for an hour, I do understand why you would not want to tune in for that. But again, a huge thank you for everybody that did tune in live. Make sure you go and share the video, share the stream, share it to all your friends, everybody that is in the NTT IndyCar nation, because as the more we know and the more we grow, the better off we will be in the long run. Again, as I said throughout the show, stay tuned or stay locked in to the Push to Pass podcast on all social media platforms for any updates and things relative to the Barber race this weekend. For myself and Josh, who's not here this evening, Michael, and everyone else that makes up the Push to Pass podcast, huge thank you, and we will come back to you in 1 week's time to not only review and discuss what we witnessed this past week or this coming weekend at the Barber Motorsports Park, but it's May, and that means the Indianapolis 500. We will definitely dig into that. So again, for myself and Josh and everyone else here, and Michael and everyone else here that makes up the Push to Pass podcast, I say, so long, everybody.
The NTT IndyCar Series is back on track.
Christian Lundgaard going to brand new primaries. They'll dial about a turn out of that front wing.
McLaughlin's got to run on Linus Lundqvist, trying to set him up into turn number 8.
Ericsson this time right on the rear wing, coming off of turn number 9. He's going to go now to the driver's left. He makes the pass of Joseph Newgarden.
Listen to the NTT IndyCar Series at Barber Motorsports Park, live this Sunday.